BS.
Welcome. This is Branky here.
Are we starting?
No!
I think we should keep that one. That
From
was
Super BS.
coming in hot, guys.
Okay, real quick. Who's across from me?
This is Jank Jankerson.
Nice.
Yeah.
And who is next to him?
Just your friendly neighborhood Donna.
The professional Dr. Donna. We got a special guest on. Can you reveal yourself to the audience, please?
Jube.
Jube?
Vvardenfell.
Jube Vvardenfell. Sure, Jube Vvardenfell. Big Elder Scrolls fan, huh?
Yeah.
Is that why you actually chose Vvardenfell?
Yeah. That's actually what I use for like the BS names on everything. Is I just use Jube, the very first character that you meet in the game, and just the name of the land.
That is awesome.
I like it.
I
like
do
it.
like that a lot.
That's
Any-
pretty great.
Use a BS name on the BS Games cast. So.
It is good. That's what we're all about, Super
Yeah.
BS.
All
For
right.
those of you listening, we had some cracking going on. And we'll
We like to add
Shake.
technical
Yeah.
difficulties into our live show so
That's
that
Release the
we can
Kraken.
keep the suspense going.
we like people to know what's going on. Okay, we're here for the truth and all the truth only. I want to talk to you guys about something before we talk about games. Did you guys watch Altered Carbon?
No.
No.
No. Okay, what?
Did you see at CES the booth they had set up?
No.
They actually had like prosthetic dolls wrapped up in little like plastic, and people they're saying that.
Let me just interrupt you really fast
This
there.
was the first time interruption, Jared. He's a big fan of these
Just
interruptions.
say that I do this thing where instead of wasting my time watching Netflix shows, I play games to prepare for our podcast.
Oh,
that makes one of us.
la-di-da.
Yeah.
I don't watch TV. I like a loser. I play video games all day.
Lottie freaking da. It was interesting. We have a friend who will not watch it because of just how much ridiculous amount of nudity there is in it. But it was
What's the problem with that?
totally, yeah. It's like HBO levels of that. Sadly, they didn't get the writing staff from an HBO show, so
Is it
it's a
anything,
little weak.
Is it anything like Blade Runner 2049 with Jared Leto and they just show the woman's boobs for like 5 minutes?
it is actually that is a great analogy, but it's nowhere near as good as that movie.
You know what seems more interesting than Altered Carbon? That's not a video game. Is on Amazon. They have this year like a Philip K. Dick show.
Electric
Of, like,
the
Electric
electric
Dreams.
sheep.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I do
And
want to
he's
see
the guy that wrote, Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep, which is Blade Runner.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's
I guess
right.
this Altered Carbon was a book too. I didn't know about
Interesting.
it, but it's I guess it's supposed to be a really good book. Early 2000s. Not
It
as
was only
early as-
printed on Altered Carbon,
Yeah.
so it was hard to get a
Hey,
hold of.
No, I do.
Let me finish my CES story though.
Okay,
They had
sorry.
people. They had a booth set up, and they were like, "We can prolong your life on through our program, whatever it is on Altered Carbon." And people
Okay.
actually thought that it was real. So there's this big like news stories all over the internet about people saying
So-
like the future of human longevity is here.
So the news story is people are idiots.
People are
This is
idiots.
real big news.
News stories. Super
gullible. Super gullible. Yep.
This is breaking news, guys.
You can live forever.
There's a lot of games that came out. We'll get to you in a second, Jared, my guest, but see what you've been playing. But Donna, what have you been playing since we last saw you, which is 2 weeks ago now?
Let's see. In 2 weeks' time, I'm trying to think if there's anything I'm forgetting before I launch into what I've been mostly playing. Well, in 2 weeks' time, I finished Breath of the Wild.
Oh, nice. What
Yeah.
do you think of the end?
It was great.
You did all the shrines?
Did all the shrines,
that's
did
so
all
good.
the memories. I did everything.
What was the complete time that took you to beat that?
I don't know.
Oh, you should have checked.
I should have
love checking
checked.
those.
They don't tell you the complete time though. It's like an estimate.
Yeah, it's
within
like
5
70
hours.
hours or more. So
Yeah. So I know when I was about 2/3 of the way through the game, I was over 55 hours. So I'd say probably in the 80-hour range would be my guess.
The sad thing is you don't notice how many hours you're putting
No,
into that
not at
game.
all.
It's not
You
a sad
just-
thing. That's like the best.
Yeah.
That's
No,
like
it's
the mark of a great game.
yeah, it's cool, but at the same time, you're like, man, that's a lot of hours of my life. Same thing with Skyrim. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, but Skyrim tells you.
Yeah,
So.
Yeah. Skyrim tells you and
reminds you every time
yeah.
you save.
But yeah, so yeah, I finished
day
it.
1,874.
Yeah, congratulations.
It was great. I started the DLC and almost blew up my face because it's too much
Yeah.
when you're doing your playthrough of the game.
Yeah,
because it's more of the same in a good way, but it's also intentionally more brutal. It's because you start weak. It like restarts you on those quests weaker. You get all of your health and items back, but it starts you initially with a quarter of a heart, so everything one hit kills you. So you have to go through all these strategic hard battles just to unlock these shrines, and then the shrines themselves are insane, like harder than any other shrine in the game type of thing. And then there's like 10 hours more of that. So it's you know, if I had beaten Breath of the Wild 6 months before it came out and then was like, oh, I really want to go back and play more, the DLC would be perfect. But when you're in the middle of like, I just finished 120 shrines, I'm ready to finish this game, and it's like, here's like a huge chunk of challenging content. It's just not. I'll come back to it. So yeah, I finished that. I've continued my Elder Scrolls Online stable building. So I just want to let you guys know I have a max speed mount now, which is great.
Real quick, because you brought up Elder Scrolls, and we got a guest here who seems to like the Elder Scrolls. Did you play Elder Scrolls Online?
I actually just got it with the Morrowind expansion.
Good.
Oh, yeah, I think you'll like it.
It's
on
great.
PC?
PC.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I've talked about it to death on here because I've been playing it. It was like the main game I was playing for a couple months. So
It's great.
right now I'm like cooled off on it, but I still log in for just certain dailies and things like that you can do.
Do you still have to just put 1 point into your mount or something like that once a day?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's every 20 hours. I mean, most games don't even give you like make your mount faster type of thing. So it's like,
Yeah, I just thought it was, I mean, it's a lot of work. Like, it's
Yeah.
something like you got to remember, okay, every day I need to log in, put a point in this mount, and then it doesn't really, log out.
And let's see. So the main game I've been playing in the last couple of weeks is Dragon Quest Builders on Switch.
Excited about that. You
Yeah.
thinking about reviewing that?
Yeah, it's
Nice.
really fun. It is not just a Minecraft game. That is actually like a third of it. There's an exploring factor to it. It's a little more robust than Minecraft. And then there is a tower defense mechanic to it. So
Is there a story that kind of?
there is a story. Historia is a classic Dragon Quest story. It's hilarious. It's not super in depth, but it's like fun.
Have you finished the first act? Because the
Yeah.
game I know is broken up into 4 acts. How did you feel when you moved on to the next part and you started essentially from scratch?
I would have hated if I kept everything.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
because what happens is you go to an entirely new land with entirely different everything. So it's like in the first act, I was building essentially like a castle base, like stone walls, obsidian walls. I was building like defense shields and doing quests that were oriented around that, as well as like building a lot of metal weapons, trying to go out and find all sorts of hidden quests all over. If you dig like Breath of the Wild style, like not obviously
It's big.
on the level of Breath of the Wild, but very much like if you look at your map and you're like, oh, that's a weird shaped looking rock, I'm going to go to that. There's usually something there.
Something worth going to see.
And so I was doing that. Your first main boss is this big golem, and he tries to wreck your base. So you have to build
The
these
classic
shields.
one?
Yeah. So
The Dragon Quest?
you have to build these shields to deflect his shots. And then the second world is this like poison swamp where you build everything. Like the best thing to build out of is wood. I'm like planting trees for defense. I'm like building ballistas for the boss fight. So it's like a totally different thing. And what's cool about it is that every act, so there's a free build mode that you unlock after the first act. And that's where it's more Minecraft, where it's like unlimited what you can do. You have an island, and then you unlock an island for each of the main chapters of the game, and that's where you can dig all your resources from, and you can reset them so you never run out of resources. But there's certain like recipes, blueprints, and things that you unlock for the free play mode by completing challenges in the main game. So the best thing that they've done for Switch is that in the PlayStation and Vita version of this game, there was time time challenges.
Okay.
So you had to complete the chapter in 20 days or 30 days.
Oh, that's kind of a bummer.
It's rough. So in this game, they got rid of those, and now they're like collection based. But there are other challenges that are quest based, like go kill the 3 hidden dragons, go do this kind of thing, and it makes it so it's like now you can build flame weapons in free play mode basically, and like things like that. So that's really fun, and yeah, it's quirky. It's filled with Dragon Quest style humor, like I already mentioned. And the Minecraft aspect of it is really fun. Looks better than Minecraft, obviously. And yeah, the pacing of it is fun because you basically go out and gather specific things on quests for all of the main characters in your village. Then you defeat a wave of monsters. You get new villagers, and they give you new quests to go to explore different parts of the world. And then you get new materials, and you slowly upgrade. And it's basically like you're building a tower or you're building a base that you're going to defend against. So that's kind of the main flow of the main game.
That sounds pretty awesome. And you had one other game you've been playing, right? This week?
I started playing the Radiant Historia remake.
Do you want to get into that in the news as well? Because there's a lot to it, or do you want to talk a little bit about it right now?
I mean, I guess it would be one and the same.
We can talk the news thing about it now too. This is going to be a little bit hefty, but this is about a game that he was really excited for, Radiant Historia, and some stuff has been altered.
Yeah, so Atlas released a remake for Radiant Historia, which is probably in the modern era would definitely be like top 10 Japanese role-playing games. Like it's easily one of the best. It's the only. That's not true. It is one of 2 games that have been lauded as, oh, if you liked Chrono Trigger, you'll like this. There's only 2 games that actually compare.
What's the other one?
Blue Dragon.
Oh, okay.
Blue Dragon is literally a spiritual successor because it's made by the same people.
Doesn't that comparison get made a lot though?
It does, and that's why I'm saying there's only 2 games where it actually is true. Radiant Historia, Blue Dragon.
Blue Dragon had the same artist, right? The Dragon
Same
Ball
artist,
guy?
same story, same designer, same music. Well, part of the same music, because the Final Fantasy guy did some of Chrono Trigger's music, but it's basically the same team, like same dream team of people as Chrono Trigger was. Radiant Historia is a time travel based game like Chrono Trigger, but it's actually really great. It's this really kind of like, dude, is everyone like just checking out today?
No, we're here.
But are we having technical difficulties?
No, we're doing fine.
All right. It seems.
No, guys, just checking on the live streams.
We're just trying to get live.
It seems like we're still getting
stuff.
dialed in. That's all.
No, we're doing fine.
Yeah. But it's like a really dark kind of foreboding game. It's got music from Yoko Shimomura, Secret or Legend of Mana, Kingdom Hearts, Final Fantasy 15. It's got a really great soundtrack. It had a really interesting art direction in the original, which they have scrapped for this remake to instead make it a more generic, boobs-friendly, Tales of Bullshit kind of style game.
What does boobs friendly entail?
They gave one of the main female characters significantly larger boobs in the redraw.
All right.
And then they gave the other really unique female character long blonde hair instead of this like short you could, this new version of the character would blend into literally any Japanese role-playing game.
So
like you would
fan service.
Okay. Whereas the original one you could pick out of a crowd, like, oh, that's a unique design.
Yeah.
So they made a lot of these changes, and I don't know who they made them for. I don't know if it's really otaku pandering, because there's a fan service event that you can download for it as well, where they go to a hot springs like every freaking fan service event. So there's some bad.
I just love that.
Yeah, it's serious. There's like a DLC fan service event, and they added a J-Rock song to the intro, which is so disorienting because when you start playing the game and everyone starts talking about mankind almost dying, and you're like, it's pretty like serious, very like melancholy atmosphere. So coming into it from this like J-Rock intro is the stupidest thing because it totally conflicts. They added voice acting to it, which was probably a mistake. It's not as bad as it could have been, though, but it's just super unnecessary.
It all sounds to me, though, just like they wanted to make more money. And they thought, there's an anime that came out a year or two ago, Your Name. Do you guys I mentioned this to Donna in the car.
Is that the one where they
switch bodies?
They switch bodies,
Okay.
yeah.
And just real quick, they added like a pop punk song to that and did a few other things, and that is like one of the highest grossing anime films ever. So,
yeah, but see, I feel like a game like this, a re-release on 3DS, which has a massive install base, but is also an old system, I feel like the reasons that Radiant Historia like struck a chord and has like a cult following, they just got rid of all that stuff. I don't think it's going to work because all of those like otaku people, they're just going to play Tales of Bresteria over and over again. Like they're going to go for the like
SBS game of the year.
They're going to go for the Altair games, the games that are like part dating sim, part RPG. Like they're
Persona? Would that be classified?
Yeah, but it's
in
different.
ways,
It's different than like the Altair games, which are very specifically that. Like there's those games exist for those types of gamers, and this game has such like a heavy atmosphere to it, and it's not like a. Yeah, anyway, so I don't think that it's going to strike that chord. Like, I doubt it's going to be selling well with all those, like, otaku fans because it's just not that kind of game, even though they've repainted it so that it looks a little bit more, like, generic otaku boobs friendly and more anime feeling. I don't think that's going to really change its, like, the fans of it. And those are some complaints. The game itself is still really fun. It's got a really unique battle system that's grid-based and turn-based, and enemies appear on a 3x3 grid, and you basically
can hit them into each other.
You can hit them into each other, and then you can strike combos where you hit multiple enemies at once. So you get all these like setups. The characters develop moves that are like push left, push forward, or push backwards. So you can like, if an enemy is in the top right, you can push him all the way to the back, and he'll do less damage to you when he attacks you. Or if you want to line him up with all the other enemies, you can push him down with an attack, and then the next person can push him over, and then they'll all get knocked back, and then everyone can attack them at once. So it's pretty fun on the battlefront. And then the time travel mechanics are interesting because you play in two parallel timelines where when you progress in one timeline, you'll reach walls where you can't progress any further. But then if you go to the other timeline and play through, it's like you'll find someone and save them, and then in the previous timeline, they'll make bombs for you to blow up something. So there's a lot of like that, and it's great because you basically can't miss anything either, which makes it fun. It's an easy game to like totally complete, get all the best endings and stuff. They've added additional content to this game. I don't know if that's going to be good or not. I know they've added a new party member character that looks whatever, just like a cheesy anime character. But what's cool is they give you two options for play in the game where you can play the perfect mode, which integrates all of the new content, and then you can play the original mode, which they recommend for people that have never played it before to play it through the original way, and it excludes all that content in the initial playthrough, which is pretty fantastic. The last thing that's cool they've done is they've eliminated I haven't gotten to where you can do this yet, but basically you can eliminate trash mobs instead of having to, if you're going to grind, instead of having to go into battle and blow through a bunch of trash mobs for experience, you can actually just kill them on the map in one hit.
Just him with sword.
Yeah. I'm assuming it's probably power based. Like once you reach a certain level above enemies, it counts them as, because there's other games that do that.
Yeah.
Like Blue Dragon does that, where there's a thing you can unlock late game where you basically, if you walk up to an enemy and use activate a button, you can just kill the enemy, get the experience and AP without actually going into a fight. You just have to be, I think you have to be 10 or 15 levels higher than it. So it works once you reach a certain level of strength. I'm assuming it's similar to that. But yeah, that's pretty much it. It's overall, it's a very disappointing, because the changes are disappointing, where it's like, you've taken the soul of it and you've altered it in a non-good way, which is like the main reason that game resonates. If you read anyone that talks about it, the reasons they love it are like the things they've changed. So that's why I wonder if it'll actually sell more or sell at all. Like,
this is a 3DS game, correct?
It is, yeah.
That's also a big problem, I think. Like,
yeah, but I think that it's easy for people that like are current to be like, I don't want to play anything that's not on my most current thing, but I think there's a lot of people that don't really care. And
yeah, I just think like Atlas, I don't want to diverge into this too much, but Atlas is releasing 3 games on 3DS this year, and to me, it's just insane. Like the 3DS is 7 years old. We have a Switch. They've like, I don't know. To me, it's.
But I think there's a couple things to it. One is that most of these games were in development before the Switch was even announced. So, and then 2, there's like banking on the idea if the Switch was going to be successful. I mean, if a game is built, typically the games that are built for 3DS are still somewhat dual screen dependent, although they could be easily altered, I think.
This is a game that could easily be altered.
Yeah.
Like I remember playing it and thinking like, okay, there's, you can look at stuff.
How difficult is it to port something from 3DS to Switch?
We don't know.
I haven't done it personally, so.
No, but I mean like before, has anything like that ever been?
Nothing yet. No, I mean, I don't think there's been a DS to, or 3DS to Switch game that I know of.
This would be a good one to port to Switch.
Yeah, it would be awesome.
But it would be just great if it was more like the original.
It'd be cool when they make games like this if they allowed you to just switch back and forth.
Yeah. What I was gonna say, just to wrap up this little Radiant Historia rant, it's jarring when you juxtapose the really anime upgrades that are stupid next to the actual atmosphere of the game. Because once you get control of your main character in the first city and start walking around, it plays the like really melancholy music. The atmosphere like changes to this like, it's kind of like dark and kind of heavy and kind of like, like it's got a very like striking feel to it. But when right before it's like, oh, I was just staring at this like portrait character's like huge boobs while she was talking, and there was a J-Rock song, and then all of a sudden it's like, now it's serious and people are gonna die and all this is gonna happen. So it's like, it's a little like
the music change eyes up.
Yeah, it's weird in that sense where it kind of shifts atmosphere on you with all these anime upgrades. So it's like,
yeah, that's a whole nother discussion.
Because like when you play a Tales game, like it's cheesy and stupid the entire time. Like it's like, it's like rarely this like dark serious game. It's like, like lazy 15-year-old with amnesia kind of thing. And there's people that love that, but it's like, it's a very specific atmosphere, which is consistent. I mean, there's a reason that Tales games are so popular. So having this kind of jarring juxtaposition where it's like, let's try and get this market or something, it makes it for like a weird experience. It's kind of like Luke Skywalker throwing his lightsaber back in Last Jedi, like.
It was cool.
Cool
and rad.
Like, it's like, oh, Star Wars, this. And then it's like, let's inject Marvel humor into it. So.
Yeah.
Is that like how they're like, hey, he's a hologram, but we're still going to have him go underneath Kylo Ren's lightsaber?
Yeah, I didn't want to spoil that right away.
Thank you, Josh. Anyways, I want our guest. He hasn't got to say much. What have you been playing, man? Jared?
I mainly just been.
Thank you for sharing. Moving on.
I tried to play like Destiny 2 and some other games, but I just keep going back to the older games that I've been playing, which is mainly Rocket League, Ark, Survival Evolved, and PuBG.
Okay, so we never talk about most of these games just because most of them are multiplayer or survival games. Tell us a little bit about Ark.
Ark is super fun. It's really buggy still.
What do you play it on?
I played on PC.
Okay.
I only have a PC now.
Did you...
PC Master Race.
Yeah, PC Master Race all the way. Did you get Scorched Earth,
I didn't get Scorched Earth. No, it's a little bit much. They came out with a map. There's a bunch of developers that did it for free. They there's a bunch of modded maps too. One of them that they came out with was Ragnarok, and it had all of the creatures from Scorched Earth, which kind of took away why I would buy it, I guess.
Okay.
Because I heard that it's kind of a grind, because you're in this harsh desert and you have to.
So what is the loop for Ark? I actually don't really. I played it once, but I know you have to keep getting food and sleeping or whatever. Like what do you do? Maybe that's not true even. But
so there's not like a huge storyline to it. There's it's mainly just survival, just like Minecraft, but at the same time, it gets a little bit more advanced, and then you have these big orbs. I forget the official name for them, but there's different colors. One of them's kind of north, and then there's one kind of southeast and southwest. And then you have to get all these unique items, like when you kill like an alpha of a particular creature, which is like 10 times more powerful than the original, like an alpha T-Rex or something like that.
Okay.
You get all these specific items, and then you put them all in there, and then you get to boss fights. Each one of them has a unique boss fight.
Okay, that's kind of cool. What happens once you do all three of them?
So once you do the boss fights, each boss, they're different in each one of the orbs, and you get, Element.
Okay.
And those are used to build this entire different tier of stuff called tech tier. So you end up going from like cloth clothes to like hide to like chitin armor to metal to then tech after that, which is, well, actually there's riot. And
how long does it take to like do something like that?
So I don't play on official servers.
Okay.
Official servers are actually so slow that even the game makers have kind of admitted it's a little bit too much of a grind.
Okay, I was going to say, you mean so slow as in like performance, or so slow as in like
I mean, like
mechanics?
For like a Giganotosaurus, which is like a T-Rex, except it's a little bit bigger. I think it takes like, I don't know. On the official servers, I want to say it takes like a week or even more.
To respawn or?
To just tame it.
Oh, my goodness. Okay.
To just knock it down, it takes so many resources just to actually knock it unconscious. And then you have to have a ton of narcotics to like keep it asleep while you're taming it, which you put food in its inventory in order to like tame it. It's a huge grind. It takes forever. And you have to be pretty much online the whole time while you're doing that because you have to protect it from other creatures from attacking it.
Oh, my goodness.
It's too much. So I'm actually on unofficial servers that still have like battle eye to keep from cheating, but it's they're increased by quite a bit.
And so say you get all this armor. My biggest thing, and the reason why I don't really play a lot of survival games, isn't it possible for another human player to come kill you and steal all your junk?
So I play PvE.
Okay. Is that like an
there's
option?
also PvP, which is yeah, that's why I don't play PvP because it's a little bit, I don't know. There's all kinds of different people that play it a little too much. Like I don't have that much spare time.
Yeah.
Where they're on all the time and then they just wipe out everything that you've been spending months on building, and then you have to start over.
Sounds like Eve.
Yeah, Eve. Yeah, where you buy the giant spaceship and then you lose, but that's real money. That is sick. Eve. Ugh, whatever.
Eve doesn't have to be real money though.
But a lot of people do spend real money. And sorry,
most people doing those free to play games, they end up spending a bunch.
And
of
they
money.
buy like literally, you've heard of like $1,000 ships that somebody buys, and then a group of.
Eve's not free to play though, right? You have to buy it.
I think it's might be free now.
Eve?
Okay.
But it was at once a purchase game. Eve, it's like a spaceship. Space.
No, I know. Is it people still play that? Because that's
I think
Oh
so.
my
I think
goodness,
it's got,
people
like,
still play it.
Do they?
Yeah, I think
That's
they
like
have,
one of
whole
the long.
sites.
Yeah, I mean, I hear there's like I read reports all the time of like the biggest like heist has happened in Eve history, where it's like somebody schemed to steal like $2 million worth of ships and stuff.
And that stuff sounds cool, but I wouldn't want to be the one who's like paying the real money. Or,
It's a game I'll never play in my life, but I'm
Time to move
fascinated
on
to
to
hear
another
about.
game.
yeah, it's a game that's cool to read about. So Ark, one of the things that I almost bought it because it came out on Xbox 2 years ago. On my birthday, I was like, oh, I want to get this.
And
It's
the
$30.
price went up.
It's meant to be.
And I played the demo because Xbox for Games Early Access let you play like for an hour. But the reason I always want to play these games is because you hear about those cool stories.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm sure you have like a story or two of like, did you tame a T-Rex or Velociraptor?
It's really fun. You there's also like wyvern pits and stuff like that where you have to try to pretty much get them to follow you to get them all out of there.
Do they
if
fly?
you try to fight them, yeah.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
cool. Can you fly on them?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That is really cool.
Pretty much every single one of the creatures, unless they're too small, you can ride them. Like
That's
so,
awesome.
once you tame them, you can ride each one of them, and that's probably the biggest part of the game. The game makers made a game mode where you can't have any tames. Well, you can have tames, but you can't ride them. And it kind of seems pointless because that's like 90% of the game.
Can you have like two? Sorry, and I'm asking all the questions, but I am curious. Can you have two people on any of these? Like mount?
Some of
Like,
them,
could you
yeah.
have like a buddy and they could jump on it?
There's a particular flying one, Tapajara, that has like 3 different mounts on it, and you can fly around on it.
Oh, that sounds cool.
But you can also, a lot of them, you can actually grab people and carry them in like the.
So there aren't sidecars for your dinosaurs.
Side dinosaurs you attach to that. Yeah, we got some cool poltergeist style lighting in the background. So yeah, that's pretty cool. What, and you mentioned Rocket League. Have you guys got a chance to play it, Donna, Jank? Rocket League?
I am notoriously bad at Rocket League.
I am notoriously never playing Rocket League.
It's
it
good.
has a hard learning curve a little bit.
It's
sometimes.
It just looks boring.
It is really fun.
It looks
is
really
a game
boring,
you stride,
but it's actually really fun.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
it doesn't. You'd think like, oh, it's just soccer, but
Super
it's so
simplistic.
much fun. Like, I just couldn't. I mean, it's not a game I would play every day, but when you have friends over, it's.
I played it and I liked it at first, but by the time I had time to go back to it, everyone had already gotten so good at it that I didn't even bother playing anymore.
every multiplayer game.
Well,
is
it usually plays like within your ability, especially if you play like competitive. You earn a certain rank, so even if you've played like 1,000 hours and you're absolutely terrible, and you do competitive. If you're really low rank, then you'll just face people that are around your ability.
And the third game you talked about is PuBG. I've talked a little bit about that on the show, but what's your experience been with the game?
It's a hard game to get decent at, it seems like. I mean, you can get a kill here and there.
Do you play squads or solos or?
I usually play a little bit of both, actually. It's pretty duo. It's just kind of whoever's on Steam on that day when I'm playing. But when I play solo, I usually just end up sneaking around the whole time.
Okay.
But when I'm with a duo or a squad, we end up being a little bit more aggressive.
Okay.
But it's pretty fun.
Yeah, man, that's a great game. I enjoyed it. And you, real quick, because I want to like ask you one more thing. Your name that you said was an Elder Scrolls game. What is your favorite of the three? Say from Morrowind to Skyrim, which one did you have the most fun playing?
The most fun playing, I think, was still Morrowind. That's still my favorite.
That's for most of my friends. That's the same. I have to say Skyrim. I was never able to get past the jank. But in Morrowind, it is a jank game.
I think maybe it's just when you play it at the time, like any of the old school games. It's hard to go back to like an old school NES game that you never actually played.
Yeah,
I always bring this up. I hate how you can't tell you're hitting somebody.
Yeah, that's the rat quest in Balmora, right? They send you to the place and you try to kill the rat.
Well, it should make like a swoosh noise, but I mean, you're like. Still, your sword's like clipping through the creature, and you're like, miss.
Looks like Paul said PuBG, what up? So it seems like people really like that. Thank you, Paul.
It beat all kinds of records on Steam for consecutive players.
But I've heard that Fortnite, the free rip-off game,
overtook it.
Yeah, that's
but
crazy.
It's because it's free.
PuBG they tried to sue Fortnite. Wasn't there something going on
did.
with that?
How can they sue them though? It's Epic. They are the licensee of Epic. So.
Yeah, and they're also not like the original of that kind of game type anyways either.
That's like H1Z1 or not even that. That's DayZ, right?
I think Mario Brothers.
Mario Brothers. Mario Kart, 100 carts, enter an island. You have battle mode. That would be a great game. You have 100 carts battle mode. It's on Block Fortress only.
It's just like one guy's turtle would just take out at least like 50 people.
Oh, man.
Did you get to play the Skyrim? Donna's, or actually you played it now recently too, the Skyrim expansion where you go to Morrowind.
I actually have a little bit. I haven't played all that much.
Dragonborn?
Yeah.
Dragonborn.
You liked it a lot, right?
Yeah, it's great.
I didn't play either of the expansions, either the vampire one or that, but I do want to play Dragonborn. I've heard nothing good about the vampire one.
The vampire one's fun. It's just what it is.
Yeah, I just don't. Yeah, this came on
I've
Twilight.
always had vampires and.
I don't like vampires in Elder Scrolls. I don't know why I never got into those quest lines.
I like the original Morrowind.
In many of them.
Yeah, they're in all of them.
They do?
Yeah, you can be a vampire in Morrowind too.
In Morrowind, there's actually 3 different clans of vampires, and depending which one you got
vampires are a thing.
Infected by.
Same with werewolves.
You get different abilities.
I remember the werewolves from No, from Skyrim. That was the only one because you had to do the Fires Guild quest, and then you could choose to not be one, which is what I chose.
In the vampire expansion on Skyrim, if you were already a werewolf, like you open up and the guy gives you the opportunities, like, do you want to be a vampire? If you don't, I'm going to kick you out of this castle and we're going to be enemies. And I'm like, I want to be a werewolf still. And
Could you be a vampire werewolf?
A hybrid? Whoa.
That would be kind of cool.
Remember.
Because they have 2 trees, right?
Yeah.
That you could go down?
I always play like a good character, so I never...
So what was your choice in that? Nothing?
Neither, yeah.
You can choose to just be neither?
I think I usually end up liking just being a clean, regular player.
Yeah. If you have to become a vampire in Dawnbreaker, which I don't think you do, then you can cure it at the end of the quest.
Because that's what you could do in Fires Guild. And they added crossbow, right, in that? Because I remember that being like a cool thing. Like you get a crossbow, and that was like
the best Elder Scrolls DLC is still Oblivion. It's still Shivering Isles and Knights of the
Night. Oh yeah, that was really good.
Those are the best.
That was awesome.
I think when I look back, I think I like Oblivion more than Skyrim, but
it just
the towers were so hard.
Skyrim
was just repetitive.
Yeah,
Oblivion, I didn't like the level list as much. Like, once you got to a certain level, you never saw another fire Antronock. You never saw another.
Yeah,
creeper.
so Oblivion has more mechanical problems. I'm talking about from a person who knows about Elder Scrolls lore and likes Elder Scrolls games. I think Oblivion is the best one. But good. I think that Skyrim is a better game. Like I'm more likely to play around in Skyrim than I am in Oblivion.
Or you could play Skyblivion.
Yeah, if it ever comes
out. Is that out?
And
no.
They have Skywind too.
Skywind is like forever in alpha. Yeah. I've literally been following that for like probably 4 years.
I was reading about it. Yeah,
but yeah, I think because it's like the time it takes place in, the quests. The main quest is fun in Oblivion. It's just not fun because of the leveling system. Because it caps you out way too fast, where you get you stop getting
Yeah,
stronger.
and they
Monsters
get-
keep getting stronger.
You just have to run.
Yeah.
You have to run through all of the Oblivion gates.
In Oblivion, I remember getting cornered a lot, and I just was not strong enough to
my-
fight people, so I climb up on like arches and stuff, and
Yeah.
I just shoot arrows
Shoot
at 'em
arrows. It
until
takes
they
forever.
die.
I'll
Yeah.
never forget the first time I played Oblivion and was just wandering the the pretty grassy
Yeah,
fields
cool.
and came across a Minotaur. It was like,
Yeah.
yeah. And then Shivering Isles is the greatest thing
There's so
ever.
many great things about Oblivion. Sadly, I think the main quest is the worst. Like playing. Maybe story-wise it's good.
Yeah, I think
but
the main quest
Paul
is
says
cool.
every time I play Oblivion, I always end up on the first quest with 50 hours played.
I definitely understand that.
Kvatch
Paul.
is forever under
So the way,
siege.
the way you have to play Oblivion is you have to play the main quest right
First,
away.
yeah, or else
'Cause otherwise
they
it gets
get
too hard.
impossible.
Oh,
But
yeah.
the huge
Yeah.
battle at the end with like the giant titans,
that's cool.
basically. With
It is.
yeah,
It's cool. I just hated like my first time playing. I did not do that.
Exactly.
And so I had to restart the game because all the Oblivion gates were too hard.
Yeah.
I couldn't even
And
run through
these,
them in time.
these are other reasons why I like PC.
Yeah.
Is because you can always add in mods that rebalance things rather than waiting for the
Yeah.
game maker to may or may not actually make
Yeah,
them.
yeah.
PC Master
Okay.
Race. There we go.
Hey, Jank, so what have you been playing, man?
Okay, so I've been playing at your request or insistence. Actually, I got the Xbox Games Pass.
Oh, nice. Cool.
I
You should have
have
because
been.
you own like 2 games.
I
Let
know.
the record show.
I
Jank
trade-
has 2 video games.
Well, see, here's the thing. I buy a lot of games, and then in order to play something new, I have to trade like 3 or 4 of the
Okay.
games that I bought.
Totally understand, but that's a stupid idea. But anyways, we were trying to do a
Trade-ins are
Twitch
always
stream. Like we were gonna play. Oh, let's all play Vermintide. It was a free game on Xbox Live. Let's go and Twitch stream this. So for you people out there listening and watching, we wanted to do something cool, but he neither
This is-
got the free gold game nor kept any multiplayer games.
This is Brian. Anytime you do something he doesn't agree with, that's stupid, man.
I'm not saying that's stupid. I'm just saying
Just
it
saying
is
it's
stupid.
stupid, yeah.
Okay,
It's
well I
just
agree with
dumb.
myself. I agree with my past self. That is stupid. Continue with what you're playing.
I played last night. I booted up ReCore.
Okay.
oh yeah, we're gonna play that. It looks cool.
It's like it's been on sale for $10. It's
Yeah.
I think it's worth
Well,
a try.
I'm playing it for free with the Xbox Games Pass,
Okay,
but
well, cool.
you know, I'm like
Our face.
I'm about 10 minutes into it. It's all right so far.
But there was one game you were playing more than 10 minutes.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I played. I got Fable Anniversary because I always wanted
Nice.
to play that back on 360, but that
you know it's
came
pronounced Fable, right?
Fable. It's French.
Sur la table?
so-
It's French,
By
but it was made in the UK.
Leon Head.
Leon Gate. Lionhead.
Yeah. So back
yeah,
in
the UK version is just a front because they know people hate French games. So.
it's
It's
true.
in France.
It's true. If they
A
really
shell company. It's like
Yeah.
a small apartment.
if they really want people to play, they'd say it was American, and then nobody would play at all. But
Yeah.
they so back when the Xbox 360 era came to an end, I wanted to play that game. I just never got around to it. But
you played it though, right?
I-
On the original?
yeah, no, I
Okay.
played the original, and see the anniversary. It still feels like an Xbox game. Like it's you know, it's got its like glitches and like the sound has issues and stuff, but it's fun. I mean, I forgot like what a grind it is to start the game.
Oh, there's a lot of story that you have to get through?
You have to do the build up. Like the whole prologue section takes you probably about 2 hours to get through. You have to do like
When you're a kid?
when you're a kid, you have to
Okay.
go do good deeds to get your sister the birthday present, and then you have to go through the training and all that, and then you have to do like the preliminary quest to show you like how the mechanics work. And yeah, so I did all that, and right now I'm in Bowerstone. I want to say that's the first.
Bowerstone's in 2 also, right? Is it in
Yeah.
all 3?
Are they all in the same universe?
I don't actually.
They are.
Oh, they are.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
thanks for being an a-hole.
Yeah, so I'm in Bowerstone just collecting quests. I forgot that a lot of these quests, they're not like systematic. They go around and you you collect the quests and you do them as you progress through the game. So like I forgot that I have OCD, so I like to go get one and go finish it and then come back and turn it in and get another one.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
But
You can't just do a bunch and then turn them all in?
you can. That's
Okay.
the thing. But like I usually like to
You like wasting
but
time.
personally, I can't.
personally, I
Personally-
can't. That's why I have such trouble with Assassin's Creed games. But no, that game it's fun. It feels like an Xbox game. I wouldn't like go out of your way to play it unless you're like really obsessed with Fable. But as for other games I've been playing, I busted out. I know we were talking about this earlier. Final Fantasy 15 Pocket Edition.
Oh, nice.
Right out of the pocket.
Right out of the
Whoopee.
pocket.
How is it?
I have some complaints. Like
Duh.
when they first talked about it at E3, right? They showed us that video, and I was expecting it to be like a miniature version of Final Fantasy 15.
Isn't that what it is, though?
No, they took out a lot of the things that make Final Fantasy 15 fun, like the ability to explore and like the.
I heard you get more of that back, but it is mostly on rails.
Yeah, I mean, it's a phone game. I thought it was just going to be the story. I thought it was
probably just doesn't have enough memory to throw in.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. But I miss the diners. Like that's one of my favorite parts is going in the diners, getting the hunts.
Oh yeah,
that's cool.
But they don't do that. They give you some hunts, but it's like everything that you do on the side is marked as a side quest. So you get like 3 side quests per city you stop in.
Okay.
And then you just play through the story. So I'm debating whether or not I want to finish it, but it's one thing that does bother me is playing on a phone. Like Dr. Donna had it right when you were talking about the Switch version. Maybe I'll wait till that.
I hope that comes out. I think it would be the right move by Square Enix, especially because Switch has
Square Enix.
Square Enix.
Square
Enix. Especially because like there are already a ridiculous amount of phone games on Switch. Like it doesn't seem like it's a hard thing to port. Like Voez and
call it in.
Just go, hey, Square, could you put that, can you press the button and get that on Switch real quick?
Please.
Please, just for us. Anything else?
No, that's it right now. We're probably going to talk about Kingdom Come Deliverance, but I'm waiting to get my hands on that one.
I'll bring up that stuff before we get to the news, actually, what's been going on with us. I'll tell you what I've been playing real quick.
Wait. What have you been playing?
Gosh darn it. I was hoping I was going to escape that. I'll try to run through this because I've actually played quite a bit. I kickstarted a game called Aegis Defenders. Do you guys know this? Like
heard of it?
Yeah, it looks really cool. Tower defense, platforming game. The tower defense sections are awesome. Right now, I have 2 characters. You can switch between them. One guy builds turrets. The other person can lay bombs and has a gun and a bow and arrow. And the guy has a hammer or a shovel. And you can get currencies by doing really good at the waves and not letting things get hurt. And you use these currencies to upgrade your characters. The art is outstanding. And the 2D pixel art is also great. The music is really, really good as well. But I'm not a big tower defense guy. I don't know about you guys.
What was that game on the Kinect? Remember when you had to knock towers down?
I didn't play like any Kinect games. I own
Tower
a Kinect,
Crashers, I think it was called.
Oh, yeah. My brother plays that a lot. I actually have never played it, though.
Yeah, so it's cool. I played a little bit. I also picked up Owlboy. We've been talking about that a lot, and I was like, I should get it.
Did you play it? How is it?
I played for about an hour, so I can't speak too much to it.
Because
played for about an hour.
An owl. One owl.
That has the level designs like Sonic, right? Where you go down into like crevices and stuff, and you got to
give us your best analogy about it.
No more puns. This is an anti-pun.
I'll think about it.
No. So I haven't got to the part where I think the game opens up, and if it doesn't open up, then it is a strange linear game where there's a hub world, but it kind of sends you to these points. So I had read that it was kind of like Metroidvania. So I expect at some point I'll be able to travel back and get stuff. But it's cool. It's really beautiful. Again, pixel art, but like really well done, like almost hand-drawn looking pixel art. Like it's like between hand-drawn sprites and pixel art stuff. But I also have been playing this is a game that Donna already beat, Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep. I picked up 1.5 and 2.5 on PS4 during the holiday break, and I finally got around to Birth by Sleep. I'm playing through Terra, which is like the cool dude. And it's pretty fun. The story is really hard to sit through. I think, did we talk about that on this podcast?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you guys probably heard enough about it. It's cringeworthy. Most of the dialogue is cringeworthy.
Because Ventus is worse.
That's what you said. So I'm right now. I've finished like 5 of the worlds because they're all really short. That's one great thing about the game. The worlds are maybe 20 minutes to an hour. But I'm at like the Olympus Coliseum, which every game has, and I'm doing like these challenges. For some odd reason, somebody decided it'd be a good idea to make them timed. And they decided to give you very little time window.
That's my favorite part of the game.
So, favorite part of the game. So I have probably played this same thing to try to beat the 10 waves about 10 times. So I've since put it down for a little bit because I am frustrated to no end.
Just want to make it known that I did not struggle with this part.
So. Oh, nice. Never struggled. Did it perfectly.
Brian sucks at games.
There's parts of the game.
Yeah.
I think what I did in those games was I kind of like like blitz grinded the command boards for a little bit, and then was just I
Okay.
was overpowered.
Well,
So
the thing for me is once I get so the game has a really cool leveling up system for your attacks. Once I get a move up to the max level, which is 3 or 4, at least for these early ones, I normally meld it to
Yeah.
make something new. So I never have like a max powered move. So like these fights I'm going into are really tricky because I think they expect you to have max powered moves.
it is fun to
I'm
like
using
meld
one.
constantly. But
Yeah.
that's why I do the command boards, because you get all the rare stuff, and then you can really meld the good attacks.
I feel like for Birth by Sleep, they're like, hey, how should we make the combat more interesting? Like, just make everything give you some type of thing that upgrades. So,
Yeah.
like, you have a finishing move that upgrades into 3 different branches. You have, like, all of your regular jumps and dashes all upgrade. Like,
yeah, everything upgrades.
it is
it's
fun. It is really
I really
fun.
hope that's kind of what Kingdom Hearts 3 is like.
if they take a step back, I don't know what they're going to do because that
Right.
is so much. They maybe don't need, like, the command board where you set, or the command list where you set it up or change
Yeah.
it, but they at least need to let you upgrade your attacks.
Yeah.
Um,
But Terra's as a character is not that bad, but
Okay.
the story with all of them is terrible.
yeah, it's-
Aqua's is the best.
Are you playing a timeline, like the same timeline with all these characters? Are you doing
I don't
like
know. I'm on one.
What do you mean?
like do you play perspectives, or do each
Yeah.
of them
Yeah.
have their own like story?
They each have their own
'Cause you'll meet
story, but you meet up with them occasionally. But it's not the same story. Like no one's on the same journey together.
Okay.
You go to most of the same places with everyone, but in different orders for the most part.
Do they unlock different sections too? Because I was
I believe
a
so.
castle and I was like, you can't go here. You need to go this way.
Yeah,
And
I
I'm
believe
like,
I believe so. It has been a couple years since I finished that game,
Okay.
so I can't totally remember. But yeah, it's all the same timeline because you all kind of start in the same place, but everyone has a different thing. Like I think it's like Aqua is chasing after Terra. Terra is trying to do this. Like Ventus is an idiot. So
Yeah,
Um,
I don't know how much more I want to play it,
you
but
should finish it. It's actually good, but it's still.
there's some other stuff, and we'll talk about the ones that I haven't played and
Are
stuff.
you trying to play through all the Kingdom Hearts before the third one comes out? Is
No,
that the-
no,
okay.
not at all. I just never beat Birth by Sleep, and I liked it. I played a little bit of it on PSP. So I didn't own a PSP, but my sister, who doesn't play games, owned one. So I borrowed it, and I had bought the game when it was on sale, so I played it a little bit when I was growing up. But the main game I've been playing is Deus Ex: Mankind Divided. Boy, that is a great game. Have you guys played the
That's
recent
what I've
Deus
been hearing. I
Exes?
had the older one.
That's the terrible game, right?
The terrible. It's a
game
terrible.
that's
It's known as
really
That's a
terrible,
terrible,
game.
great game. Yeah, no,
terrible, great game.
I played it. I played the first 2 hours of it. and,
of Mankind?
Yeah, that's the latest one, right?
Yeah.
Josh was divided about
Yeah.
it.
What did you sell it?
Yeah.
Don't even. Oh my.
And it's not because I didn't want to finish it. It's because there's something else out I wanted to play. And
I
just
am
don't.
like about up to here, listeners. Just so you know, it's above my head. I don't know why you sell the game. Buy
He
it.
does
it's on-
it. He does it for Pokemon Go credit.
Yeah, just
True.
so he can get more
That's
Pokemon.
true.
So he can buy Final Fantasy 15 Pocket Edition. He's got to get those
Paul,
iTunes.
Where do you stand on the old game trading?
Oh God, please, Paul,
Let's see
don't
what,
agree
Let's see what
with.
the chat has to say about this.
Don't agree with.
I don't trade in like any of
Oh.
my games.
Well,
yeah,
you have them all downloaded, right, on your hard drive.
Yeah, but I mean, even when I had like
Yeah.
Xbox, I was just like, well, for one, you don't really get that much for them.
Yeah.
For two, I might go back and play them. Like,
Yeah.
But then again, I would only buy a game that I knew I was going to play a decent amount.
Yeah.
So real quick about trading before I talk a little bit about Deus Ex. You recently bought Horizon Zero Dawn Complete Edition.
Yeah.
Did you trade that in?
No, I have it.
Okay, because
Yeah.
I know you've been talking about that. You just don't. You've been trading most of your games. So I was curious if you bought this and
I haven't
instantly
gotten around
traded
to
it in.
playing it yet.
Okay, well, anyways, it's on sale for $4 today, so go pick it up again. It's a lot of fun.
I'm gonna pick it up again. I have it.
Deus Ex: Mankind Divided. Sorry.
Oh, God, I thought you
back
were
to
talking
talking about that.
Where?
It's on the Square Enix store. This is going to be, well, it's be up tonight, so it'll probably still be $4 this weekend. You guys should pick it up.
Huh.
It is really cool. It's like a first-person adventure game. You have like limited inventory space. You get these things called praxis points, which you get through either leveling up or you can find them in the world. You increase like your cybernetic skills. There is a thing where you have to like turn off cybernetic skills at the beginning, but you can upgrade that later so you can keep them all going at the same time. And it's really cool. It's like, oh, there's a vent there and there's poisonous gas, so I need to get the augmentation that will let me breathe in the poisonous gas. And once I go in there, there's going to be either a praxis point or some type of weapon or something that I want. And or I could go to another place where it's like, wow, that's really high. I need to get this super jumping ability, or I need to hack this door, which is hack level. It's just one of those style games. You can kind of play the game the way you want. I've heard mixed things about the story. I could care less. That's not one.
Loved the story in the last one.
On Human Revolution?
Yeah.
I have a hard time getting into... I mean, that's not true. I just beat... Oh, wow. Since the last time we talked, I beat Prey. I don't know if we ever... Oh, yeah, we hadn't talked since then. That was great. I beat Prey since the last time we met, and that was great, and that's kind of reminds me of this, but that's a story I was really interested in. And I finally stuck through the stupid load times and played through the last 2 hours of that and had the best time ever, and I don't want to replay the game.
What was the total play time on
22
that one?
hours.
Oh, that's not bad.
But about at hour 15, I spent the rest of the 7 hours running through zones and getting load times. So I probably played 20 hours and had 2 hours of load times.
Is it like the load
It's
time when the load
on PC,
times?
you wouldn't experience this, but
Nope, I have an NVMe SSD. It's
Yeah.
ridiculously
Yeah.
quick.
I've heard the Prey PC load times are like 10 seconds, and on the original Xbox, not Xbox One S or Xbox One X, the load times are 50 seconds to a minute.
It all depends on a hard drive.
Yeah.
Is it's
Are you-
everything that the consoles use, and then you have an SSD, which is like 6 times faster than that. And then I have an NVMe SSD, which is 6 times faster than an SSD.
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
So it just like you don't even see load times.
goes
You
right
can
through
even
it.
you can even get your load
Jeez.
times down if you buy an external SSD for the Xbox One. It will actually use that, but we're still not talking PC speeds, but I've been tempted.
They're a little bit pricey, but
Yeah.
if you just play the games that you play regularly,
Yeah. And then you get them off
and
there.
then
and
exactly. As long as you switch them off, like my NVMe SSD is like 250 gig.
I looked into that when I was playing Fallout 4 on Xbox One. We've all played that at this table, Fallout 4. The load times are silly on Xbox. It's really bad.
I didn't notice them. I thought the game was just kind of dull.
I
It
played
did
Fallout
seem a
4
little
and
bit more dull.
yeah, it's definitely more dull than 3, but it was
Way more dull than New Vegas.
okay. But the thing is, it was a game I wanted to play, but I just every time I got attacked and I had to load into another zone and then sit through another minute load time. I was
Even
like,
without the load times, I just was having a hard time
Yeah.
getting it. I like the Bethesda games. I really
Yeah.
like Fallout and I like Elder Scrolls, but I just couldn't
Elder
really get
Scrolls
into it as
had
much.
bad load times,
Yeah.
and then when it finally did load, everyone in the town would be frozen for a second, like they were surprised to see you, and then they go start moving again.
yeah, I remember that going into Skyrim, the winter hold and stuff, like
Yeah.
going there and then like. da.
You used to be able to do that on Fable. There was glitches that you could actually freeze everybody, and you could beat the game that way.
Anyways,
it was super easy.
To summate all, because I talked about it, stupid amount of things. Beat Celeste, got to the final third thing. That's amazing. There's a review up on our podcast, and there's a written review up on the site, makeitmedia.com/blog.
Yeah.
We'll hopefully get a real site soon. Deus Ex Mankind Divide's great. I'm about probably 5 to 10 hours into it. Prey was amazing. Finished it. Owlboy seems cool. Started it. Aegis Defender seems cool. Started it. Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep has a weird story. But yeah, so I just wanted to go over that because I talked about like 7 games.
So of all those games, which ones do you plan on finishing?
I will probably beat, I don't know. I want to do a review for either Aegis Defenders or Owlboy. So,
Okay.
And I also, one last thing. Sorry. I played a lot of games this week. I also played Crossing Souls, the demo for it. I didn't pick it up yet, but I just want to talk about it because it's so cool looking. Did you guys get to see the video for that?
No.
It is essentially an 80s Stranger Things Zelda Link to the Past style
It has
game.
a Scott Pilgrim vibe to it.
Yeah, it's. I think it's really cool. A lot of the reviewers are mixed. Like I was interested in it because somebody gave it a 9, and then the next review I saw was like a 6.5. And I was like, what is this game? But you play as like 5 characters, and 3 of them are useful, 2 of them are whatever. But you just switch between them with R1, L1, and you kind of go around suburb like 1980s America, like doing Legend of Zelda style stuff. I haven't got to where it gets weird yet or anything. But I'm probably gonna wait. I just played the but it's gonna be like a Stranger Things style game where things get weird. But
Yeah.
I probably will wait till it comes on Switch like next year. I played the demo on PS4 and I really dug it. Let's take a quick break because there's a ton of stuff to talk about when we get back.
Hey everyone, venture into the pop culture cosmos today, where you'll hear our conversations on different topics within the world of movies, TV, video games, comic books, technology, board gaming, and more. You'll also get a taste of some of our other shows within the cosmos as well. So come on and join us each week as we delve into the pop culture cosmos.
Welcome to the Pop Culture Cosmos.
Thank you guys for your patience. This was a big week. I want to talk about it. We recently posted our backlog chat with me and Donna talking about Rise of the Tomb Raider, We also posted a Kingdom Come Deliverance interview, which came out this week, and we posted my Celeste review. I want to talk a little bit about Kingdom Come Deliverance. We haven't, our copy's coming in the mail still, so we haven't got to play it yet. But it's been like kind of diametrically opposed. Like I've seen YouTube or Twitch streamers like love it, and I've heard the reviews I've read have been super negative about the bugs. What do you guys like for a game like this? Does it, when you see the reviews like that where people are like this sucks, is it just like not make you want to play it? Like I'm curious about
Not
that.
really. I wouldn't have expected anything different from the review side of things. Just because a game that's trying to be an epic, but from an indie studio, like there's just no way. I mean, there's no way it's gonna have the polish of even like a Bethesda game, which is super buggy.
Yeah.
So it's like
You gotta appreciate the effort that goes into making that, though.
So you have to like. I mean, I think that for the most part, people expect.
Yeah,
At
and
least myself, like I was no way I thought it was going to be this like pristine experience.
the fact is they can patch this stuff. That's what also gives me hope. Are you looking at all into it, Jared? It is
No, I
like
haven't.
supposedly runs pretty great on PC.
Yeah?
Out of
No, I haven't
out of the ports. I think the Xbox and PS4 one will run fine as well. Also, another game that came out that we've talked, or Dr. Donna's talked at great length of disliking, but I was almost swayed to purchase it. I'm still on the fence. Secret of Mana remake. That is crazy. That finally came out. It is seeing a lot of hate. So I was curious what you guys think about all of this hate. Like I've seen some reviews calling it one of the worst like ports.
I think it's great.
Trades and all hate.
Well, here's the thing. I mean, this just is like the Radiant Historia remake that I'm talking about. Like they make these moves that are baffling, where it's like, oh, you know that iconic mana game art style that we've cultivated for 30 years? Fuck that. Let's just make it polygons and look like a stupid phone game. Like. You never like. I don't understand the developer's mindset. So Square Enix, you're stupid since you're watching.
Square Enix is
but
in
it's
the
like
chat.
it's the same. It's the same thing. Like with the Radiant Historia remake. Like who asked for like a more otaku boobs friendly remake of an amazing game? Like it's not.
I
It's not
was
necessary.
I was
And
on
so-
every
Right,
message
yeah.
board.
And so I want like I think the negative reactions are good because hopefully that means that Square Enix won't do this again. Next time they have a game with a really cool art direction, feel, music, that they won't be like, well, it doesn't matter what we do. We can just repaste it with the cheapest assets and people will love it because it's Secret of Mana. But it's like, not if it doesn't look good, like not if it doesn't sound good.
And I understand that, but I was reading reviews today that were giving it like a 5 out of 10. And besides the visuals and besides the fact that they say it's boring, which, I mean, I don't know. I feel like that maybe could be applied to the original game because unless the visuals also changed the way it played like substantially, I was surprised to see such low reviews.
I mean, I have played the original game in recent years and it's not boring to me.
Yeah, so that's what I was saying. Like, I didn't think
I
it
think you
should.
just have to read the reviews because people will just kind of troll stuff and just put like
Yeah.
1 star out of 10, and it's just the smallest little reason.
Yeah, well, that's why I like Kotaku not giving scores and
Doesn't too? I mean, no, it's all right. Secret of Mana, don't they warn you that it's like it only appeals to like certain hardcore fans of that genre? Though, isn't that one of the things?
I don't
that
think they warn
what are
you
what are
ever.
you talking about?
Well, I mean, don't they say like if you're fans of like Final Fantasy, like don't expect this game to be like that or anything? I've read
I
a
haven't
couple.
heard anything like that.
I've
but
read
maybe reviews, but I mean, Secret of Mana is a
Totally
like
different. Yeah,
a
it's-
25-year-old game or whatever. Like,
Yeah, it's an adventure RPG, so if you're expecting Final Fantasy, it's not Final Fantasy.
yeah, no one because it's from the same company, so it's like back then it was famous for from coming from the same company. So I feel like fans of Final Fantasy were into it.
Yeah, and it's an action RPG. It was pretty well lauded because it also had 3-player co-op at the time, which was really cool.
I don't know any like old school Final Fantasy fans that aren't Secret of Mana fans.
Yeah, I mean it's a great game. That's why I'm surprised seeing like such low scores sometimes. Like it seemed to me to be a little bit crazy.
But I mean,
'cause-
I think visuals are a huge factor there because it's like if it's the game is charming for what it is. So if that's all gone, like what's the impetus to play?
I don't know. I guess I don't have much of an argument. I just was surprised. I
Yeah.
still may pick it up, but I might wait because I think $40 is a lot for a remake. That's why I didn't pick up Shadow of the Colossus. Anyways, about remakes, because this is remake era that we're in. Jank, you got some cool remake news. Cool, I guess.
Our good friends over at Kotaku have released a piece saying that they are going to be remastering Spyro the Dragon. They're going to be re-releasing Spyro the Dragon Ripto's Rage and Year of the Dragon, the original Spyro trilogy, and I, for one, am stoked.
I say forget about it. Give me remastered Croc.
Croc. That's a very underappreciated game.
All
I
of
feel.
the C-grade platformers.
I remember seeing Croc for the first time when I was a little kid, and I was pretty blown away by it. I was like, whoa,
Yeah.
this is like...
Well, I didn't even know what it was, but I got it for Christmas, and I spent just hours playing it.
Yeah.
Whatever. I mean, it's cool.
Croc forever.
I didn't
Well,
even.
there's a Croc 2, right?
I don't know.
Yeah,
I
think there must be a
there
Croc
needs to be
2.
a remaster of is Chameleon Twist.
That would be great. I would
Oh,
be into
man.
that.
What about Gex?
Oh no, they can leave Gex. They leave Gex in the tomb where he's buried.
Forgets about that.
I am curious though, because supposedly Crash Bandicoot had a 1-year exclusive deal with Sony. I am curious. I maybe might pick it up what's on Switch.
The rumor is it might be ported to like Switch or Xbox, but
I am
there
hoping.
hasn't been any official announcements
It
yet.
seems crazy nowadays when games aren't ported, at least PS4 to Xbox, because they're running on the exact same hardware. Like, unless you're buying the exclusive rights, like, it doesn't make sense when it's not Sony first party.
Right.
There were a couple other news stories. Did you guys want to bring those up? They were about, like, the gaming industry and controversy. We can talk about them. They are very in-depth and very long, so if you guys want to save them, we can do that too.
Yeah, I mean, there's the...
We can give the shorthand too.
Yeah, the shorthand. There's the Atari thing going on where the founder of Atari was going to be given like an achievement award, and it was revoked because someone tweeted that he was like an abuser of some kind, or that
touching consoles inappropriately.
Yeah, exactly. But then
it's actually very serious. We shouldn't maybe.
But I also read an article about it that highlighted the experiences of women that actually worked there.
Yeah,
and
that
they
was really
felt
cool.
really empowered by the environment. They said it was the 70s. It was a very different time. That's kind of an interesting thing. I mean, it's not really the domain of this podcast to really get into like sexual politics from the 70s.
When you're,
but I think that's a valid
diverse.
argument to not judge like, you know,
everything today on
by today's standards.
Yeah.
Yeah, judge. I mean,
everything from the past by today's standards.
yeah, but that's something that happened. So we'll see if there's any more development to that story.
how shallow though is the relevancy pool when you're digging into Atari?
I think we're in a slow news week because, Jared, you also had a kind of controversial story about an old King of Kong, right? That you read?
There's actually like more and more coming out, but
Yeah, that
there's
one's
like
still developing.
There's like separate leaderboards for people that made game records for original
Arcade
systems,
cabinets.
arcade games, systems, different things like that, and then people that do emulators.
Yeah, MAME is the big emulator everybody uses.
Yeah, I use that too.
You use MAME?
Yeah.
It's a good emulator, right?
Yeah, it's great for
So
all the
just for
arcade
arcade
games
games?
that weren't ever on consoles. But yeah, and then there's always the console emulators as well. But there's a couple of them, and I don't remember exactly how they did each one of them, but they have like a way of implementing it to where they have the original game and they have every single thing that could possibly go right. What's the best possible time that you can get?
This is
And
the
some
racing
of
game,
these-
right?
Yeah, the first one was the racing game I think that they really had, and they took him off of first place because they found out that it was completely impossible to get the time that he got.
Yeah.
Even if everything went
Was it
absolutely
Outrun or
perfectly.
what game was it?
I honestly
It's called Dragster
I don't
or
really
something.
remember.
Okay, we don't need to search it now, but I am
But
curious.
there's quite,
I'll
there's
look into
quite a
that.
few records actually that are being taken off that
Which
have
is
been
interesting.
long-standing records.
It's
Really?
interesting to think how they did that because you had to to submit a record in the olden days, you had to take a Polaroid of the
Yeah.
screen. So it's like
You take a Polaroid at anybody's screen, but I guess maybe cheating was
yeah,
like
but so
not
they couldn't. It's not like you can Photoshop a Polaroid.
Like an old school JPEG.
No, but I just
Jeez.
I don't know. I mean, I guess it's not as like big of a deal as it is today. There are like sites, like fan sites, where
Yeah.
people really care about this stuff, and that's why they're trying to revoke his #1 score on.
They
Oh,
did.
they did. They already did, and that one was specific because that was the longest standing game record ever.
Wow,
Yeah.
Mr. Hot Sauce himself, man, and hot sauce right now.
Sauce.
You guys know he's like supposedly a hot sauce magnet.
No.
Like his family
Literally,
might.
like hot sauce just comes to
It's
him.
just like, he opens the cabinet.
Oh,
and
I
it's
should say a
flush.
magnate. Sorry. He
He's a hot sauce magnet.
magnate. Yeah, Billy Mitchell's hot sauce. I've never tried it, but I guess it's for gamers.
Oh,
so
great.
we gotta get on that.
I thought that was Mountain Dew.
This has been a strange episode. We've missed our Davey. We haven't done Stock Corner in a long time. Hopefully, we'll be back soon. It was awesome having you, Jared.
You just
Hopefully,
only
we'll have
assume
you.
that the market is crashed.
It's
heavily.
crashed.
Oh.
Actually, we don't want to get into that.
Davey's
but that
actually
is,
trying to rebuild the market as we speak.
He doesn't want to
That's
come
why he's
on
not
right
here.
now. Anything else that I missed out on for this week? It was kind of a weird news week. Like, I mean, I can only think of like the Kingdom Come stories and the Secret of Mana stories, and
Yeah, there's not been a lot of other.
yeah, it's weird. Stuff's coming out though, and I think next month's going to be even bigger with Ni no Kuni 2, Far Cry 5. Like, I'm pretty excited.
The Ni no Kuni 2 is interesting. There's not. It's kind of not being. It's not as. No one's as excited for it, right?
As the first one, I'm not. There, a lot of the previews have been really positive.
Yeah.
And I really loved the first one enough that as long as it's not like.
But it's not from
this-
Studio Ghibli. Like Studio
No.
Ghibli's not involved.
But
at
Joe
all.
Hisaishi, the composer, he's part of it. And my guess is they didn't want to pay for the license.
Yeah.
My guess the license was stupid expensive. So it's, boring politics. Okay, well, hopefully next week we will be back. And I don't know if we're doing anything cool on the site between then and now. We're going to try to get this live streaming thing normal. And we're also going to try to stream to Twitch at some point if Josh ever gets games.
Correct.
This will maybe never happen because he doesn't own video games. And I don't even know why he's on here.
True. All right, guys, my last episode.
Peace.
Late.
That's to us people that can feel things. It hurts. It hurts. It hurts. It hurts.